Hi, I'm Natalia Cerezo-Martin, leadership coach, helping you lead with clarity, confidence, and balance. Today, I'm joined by the brilliant Toby Sharpe, Managing Director at the Information Lab US. Toby and I have been working together over a year and a half, and I'm really excited for you to hear his experience. Toby, what was happening before we started working together? What felt was the biggest challenge at the time?
Thanks, Natalia. So I joined the Information Lab and was charged with growing the Information Lab US since early 2020. It was a slow start with COVID, and then we actually got going properly in early 2022. It was really just me and support from the UK team initially, and then we very quickly grew to more than 50 people in the team. At the time we met, pretty much everybody reported to me, which just was an unsustainable situation. So I was looking to try and change that effectively so that I could delegate to more people to share the load that I had in running the business. Alongside that, I was also looking to develop my own leadership skills because this was a relatively new experience for me. And obviously, I'd want to try and impart that on people that I would promote into taking on more responsibility as well. So I think that was where I was at in wanting to develop those skills, and also as we grew the US business, to try and maintain a connection with the UK headquarters and effectively leverage the senior leadership team to help me with that. So, those were the two major things I think, was developing my skills, adding more people to the leadership team here, and also leveraging the leadership team at headquarters.
Yeah, and it is such a great point what you do, because sometimes we race to the next level and we did have all of the skills, but there is this gap that we need to fill, and we're too busy. So this is where coaching can really help you. What almost stopped you from saying yes to coaching?
No reflection on you specifically. I think it always comes down to credibility. I think, without a clear sort of recommendation from someone that's had a good experience in the past, it's a bit of a sort of crapshoot in terms of where you go for that sort of thing. It's not something that I had been actively looking at until I was told about, someone using your services, which kind of triggered this whole thing. And the other part of it is just having funding to be able to do that. But thankfully, I was able to use funding. So I have been tapping into that budget allocation I had from the Information Lab, for which I'm grateful.
Mm. Yeah, which is great. You actually have that initiative of funding and development of your teams. What would you say has changed as a result of our work?
I developed the Till US board, so creating a group that allowed for me to have a better communication mechanism with the senior leadership team, who are primarily UK based. So having mentioned that before, that was definitely something that was, I think, lacking for me to leverage their experience and assistance in terms of running things here. Also, through this and some unexpected things that came during our time working together, I had, or rather, we as an organization had serious things come up, like, as an example, round of layoffs, which historically the business has never done, but we were forced, due in part to, moving quite quickly to grow the business, and then having a tough time of it in late 2023 and into 2024. You can't predict how the market's going to be, and that was a sad thing that we had to go through, and that was tough for me. Really tough experience, and I think that our sessions helped me process that and go through getting that done, as much as I didn't want to. And then also a really sad situation of losing one of our colleagues to suicide, which was, again, extremely unexpected and a really tough thing to move through as a leader in an organization where everybody was very much affected by that situation. So I think, having this as an outlet has been really helpful to me being able to effectively manage those situations and more. And, beyond that, I think my management style specifically has improved tremendously over this time. I've been able to move to promote some folks into those positions where I can share some of the load of management of the business, delegated a huge amount to those people, and really empower them to have a bigger impact on the business and take over some direct report relationships as well, which is great for their own professional development. So lots has happened. It's sometimes hard to reflect on, the very specific things, but as a person, I have grown tremendously during the process of working with you.
Yeah, and it's amazing because we almost come to the marks of 2 years working together. And as you say, is the space is for you to be your thinking space, your reflective space, your strategic space. And it has been incredible to see your growth and development and see the growth of the Information Lab itself with you having record months this year so far. So what were the big insights you took away and how have they shaped your leadership style or your life?
I think the biggest one is I do know what I'm doing, but also it's okay at times to not know what I'm doing because I'm always learning. So therefore never becoming complacent. I know that that's a contradictory statement, but in the moment, having that confidence to feel like you're making the right decisions and moving in the right direction, asking the right questions is important, but also never to think you've cracked it. Running a business is hard. I think I need to continue to remind myself of that, and it only gets harder as you get bigger and move faster. But the experience of going through that makes me better at my job, especially if I'm looking around me and listening well. Definitely something that I've worked on improving. Two of these, one of these, as they say, and my listening has definitely improved. I think through having the meetings with the senior leadership team, the board meetings, I've better understood the respect they have for me and also that I've earned that respect, which is a good thing. And also that I shouldn't ask them to come with all the answers. They don't know everything. They also don't know this business on the ground as well as I do. And, having the confidence to advise them effectively around what we need has become much more commonplace for me in my day to day. And I've also developed a team here we refer to as the steering committee who have been integral to my success in communicating to the board to establish decisions we've needed to have made and growth plans implemented. So I'm grateful for them as well to have enabled me to be better at that process of communicating with the leadership team.
And I think for me, one of the key things that you're saying is that culture that you're creating, right? You're creating a culture of psychological safety where people can say, I don't know. And you also embrace it not knowing and lean into that curiosity of what can we do? Where do we go next? Which is so incredible about your leadership style. So, Toby, would you recommend working with me and why?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. For me, you're a great source of energy and positivity. There's always levity in our sessions, but also with seriousness and clearly conceived intentions. So, absolutely.
And is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised by the whole experience, really. I don't think I'd have sought this kind of help or support without a nudge from someone or a recommendation, which is what I got. And, also a great credit to you for nurturing my interest every step of the way. I think even when we began, there was still some hesitancy in me, a little bit of, "Ooh, is this really what I should be doing, or could I spend the money elsewhere on different types of training?" But I'm really pleased that I went down this path as we have. I've felt constantly challenged, but in a good way. And throughout this, that challenge and the um, conscientiousness as well on your end has been really helpful for me to feel like this is a safe space. And, all of that has led to significant professional growth for me.
Thank you. It has been such an honor to be working with you during this time, and I can't wait to continue our work together. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and have an amazing day.